Gilbert.
Good morning, Lem.
Why do you look so worried? What's up with the sad mood?
I had some training problems with the farmers on processing. I don't know what to do at this moment.
What exactly is the problem?
In essence, they are processors, but they are also producers who did not render expected results, who did not have the changes we expected. And their farmer organization functionality is not good enough. I think it is a problem of approach.
We at ProFE also had a similar challenge, but in collaboration with the ABF, that's the Agri-Business Facility program, we adopted the processor business scope approach, and it really helped the NTFP processors in adopting good processing techniques, entrepreneurship skills, and even basic notions on climate change.
I need more information about this.
I can give you Anna Marie Matas' contact. She's responsible for the ABF program, and besides, this approach was conceived by her.
I coordinate the Agri-Business Facility for Africa. Intervening in such a context, the destruction of jobs can easily become a first negative impact. In order not to harm and to enhance the potential of MSMEs in processing and employment, it is essential to strengthen the entrepreneurial, technical and commercial capacities. Millions of rural micro, small and medium enterprises dominate African agri-food value chains. In order to develop their potential as suppliers, investors and employers, as well as manage risks, they need business knowledge and skills. However, inclusive, quality and affordable advisory and training services and business development and business models for rural micro and small entrepreneurs are lacking. Nigeria's Green Innovation Centers program has adapted this approach to processing of cassava into gari. In 2018, the Forest and Environment Program in Cameroon and in Mauritania adapted the PBS to non-timber forest products. This is how they added a new element to the strategy for the protection of forests, respectively of the communal territories. The Green Innovation Center program in Côte d'Ivoire has also adapted PBS for the processing of cocoa byproducts into commercial products.
My name is Henry Lobwe, and I am part of the AFC Agriculture and Finance Consulting team, which has been entrusted by Green Innovation Center, Ivory Coast, with the processing of cocoa, cassava and plantains byproducts. In the AFC team, we have chosen to valorize everything that producers throw away after extracting the cocoa beans, because only the cocoa beans used to be marketed. Once the beans are removed, the pods and the bulbs juice are valorized and bring substantial gains to the producer. As for the cocoa cortex, we have developed a technology to transform it into eatable mushroom and briquettes. The mushrooms brings nutrients to the producer as well as additional income, and the cooperative also market the briquette, which are profitable from an economic and environmental point of view. By producing the briquette with the cocoa cortex from 3 hectares of cocoa plantation, 1 hectare of forest is preserved through the use of briquettes instead of firewood. This work was carried out in partnership with the ABF program, which helped us to develop PBS training manuals that are now used to promote PBS in the agricultural sector in Ivory Coast.
At one hand, we were aware of the risk of destroying jobs for women and young people. At the other hand, we were inspired by the successes of the farmer business. Our sister program, the Competitive African Rice Initiative, CARI, has developed with our support in 2015 the Processor Business School, or PBS. This curriculum targeted rice parboiling groups in Nigeria, Burkina Faso and Ghana, mainly led by women. The Processor Business School was designed by GIZ to promote entrepreneurship of these processors, building on the principles of the FBS approach. During PBS training, processors, be it women or men, evolve as entrepreneurs who deploy technologies and use market opportunities for more income, who plan their income to cover the needs for investment, working capital, and the needs of the household. They conduct professional negotiations with buyers, input suppliers, and financial institutions. They manage their financial resources and loans well and systematically renew their equipment at the end of its life.
Please kindly put me in contact with a master trainer.
A master trainer is a PBS trainer who has gone through the whole certification process with well-developed standard criteria set by the GIZ ABF. After classroom training and on-the-job training, he or she conducts a number of high-quality mass training, and only after this stage is he or she eligible for the master trainer certification process. A PBS master trainer is responsible for introducing the approach to a community or country, developing and strengthening the operational capacity of the trainers who will subsequently be responsible for training the target group, including women processors.
Very well then, I will schedule that for a field work.
Welcome to the processing unit of Cameroon. The mechanist of this unit serves almost 3 subdivisions. We have women who come from Mindoro, Meso, Gwela, and even Malaya towards the frontier of Lomé, Yogadoma.
My name is Ochamzo Angel. I was part of the PBS training at Lumier.
It is a project which started long time ago with GIZ. I am among the presidents of the cooperatives. I was trained by 2 master trainers. After being trained, I was retained. I train other women at Lumier. We wish that entrepreneurship develops from point A to point B. The women started from a level where they were not organized and had no idea of what we call enterprise. But with this training, we equip them with knowledge. There are 10 modules that we developed and which are adapted to the level of participants. They make sure that women are given hope, courage, and assurance that they can be entrepreneurs. They learn how to master the content of the courses, for example, how to plan activities. Because an entrepreneur should know how to plan, manage money, manage personnel, and to make profit in order to improve their living conditions.
Before this training, I used to practice wrong techniques of collection, of storing, and peeling of the fruits of Moabi.
I am called Marie Ntenge. In the past, I went to the bush. I picked my Moabi.
When I went to pick my Moabi in the forest, I came back and dried it directly on the bare ground. And when squeezing it, we proceeded by the traditional method. We measured it in a bowl of 2 liters, using almost a kilogram of Moabi. In squeezing by this traditional method, I extracted 1 liter of oil, which was, by the way, of bad quality and poor coloration.
I produced my oil and sold it without objective. If I obtained even 300 francs from the sales, it was sufficient for me. I didn't consider profit. I divided my oil into 2, a part for sales and the other for my family.
After my PBS training, I now come to transform my Moabi at the processing unit situated at Lumier. Compared to the traditional method, this technique gives me more than just 1 liter and extracts good quality.
Another advantage is that it is rapid and efficient.
And it is this oil that can also be sold expensive enough and enables me to have more money to meet my family's needs.
Now when I sell 5 liters of oil, I have at least 1,500 francs of profit to wait for the next year. And sometimes we do little savings, so that when the time comes, I am able to purchase material to enter the bush. I also have to look to whom and how to sell. It gave me the desire and motivation to go ahead, because before we had sold without organization.
There is already impact on the field because the products are produced after they have learned the methodology. The collected oil yield increases, and this enables the women to have a higher revenue.
I am Anavai Lucy, married Temva. I was born in Tokombere. In the PBS framework, I am a processor and also president of a group of women called the Association of Women Volunteer for the Development of Meskine. I am in the first cooperative of Marua. We produce neem oil. Whenever GIZ had field trips, they would find us on the roadsides, in groups or individually, collecting neem seeds. Individually, we weren't serious about what we were doing. We heated the seeds in the water and then squeezed them with our hands. We took the packages from recycling boxes in the streets and rinsed them to put the oil of our seeds inside to be sold. But the quantity of oil obtained was very insignificant.
My name is Abraham Autaxa. I am an expert in the development of North Timber Forest Project. I work for the Eco-Council groups, which is the German law firms. The PBS is the processor business school, and we have implemented in the North and Far North regions. With the support of the PBS, we have initiated training module, practical notebooks, and also the stage of preparing trainers, since they had to be deployed in the field to train the targeted group.
Bonjour. Merci. I'm Muvumbondi Sylvestre, PBS trainer. The modules consist of training the learner in what they started doing and getting them to understand that they are the ones who are going to improve it. Then he will go faster than you. It becomes give and take.
And the majority of the target groups, despite their intellectual level, still find themselves in this approach.
And in this approach, there's the entrepreneurial component, that is to say, discovering that I'm an entrepreneur, knowing what tools I need to grow my business, and then asking myself the question, do I win? If I win, isn't there another way to win more? And in this other way of earning, do I have to work alone? Not at all. I have to work as a team. If I have to work as a team, what are the techniques so that we can produce together and sell together? And for whom am I doing this work? For the family, and therefore we can be able to eat.
Many things have changed. Even the standards of living of women has changed. Even in our ways of working. When we have our grain, we take them to the crusher. We put them in a winnower, then we go to the press unit to get oil. We spend little and have high quality oil, and they are bottled for that. We package them and then we label them.
Okay, I met my nutritional needs. I understood that I have to calculate before I start. I have learned that it's necessary to renew my equipment. I have understood that it's necessary to have a stock of input before starting. Now, what strategy to use to be efficient and profitable? Here are the models. There are 10 of them.
The change is visible. The majority of women who were on the traditional processing field, if I can say so, are gradually migrating to the most improved practices of the oil extraction techniques in which they are invested.
In the PBS training, we never found ourselves having less. We have always had benefits. We are already saving money, unlike in the past. And there is also a sinking fund that we have set aside to replace worn-out equipment. Since we are an enterprise, we must do everything to ensure that our activity is continuous.
Some are very enthusiastic when it comes to PBS training, and it is evident in the field. We see at the level of the collection, the changes that take place, oil that are conditioned. We no longer find cooperative with paperwork, but a simplified accounting that is done. So, I think gradually that this band will become enterprising band. It is an approach that can be adapted to all activity.
And with the techniques that have been improved, namely the introduction of presses, these trainings are adaptable to any type of income generating activity. Regarding the environment, for example, we not only start from seeds, we also plant trees to guarantee the potential. These same tools are adaptable to other activities for entrepreneurial development in this sector, and I can guarantee you that even in livestock farming, we have the input, the equipment. We look at what we earn and what we lose. What strategy do we develop to win more?
I was in the field. Tell me, have you heard of PBS?
I read about processors. Training for processor?
Processor business. Yeah, that's it. It is also an approach by ABF.
Our Agri-Business Facility program.
Exactly. This approach trains agricultural producers on how they can process their products. Both of them, it depends on their level. We can have people who have processed before, but who have not mastered it well. So I was in the field and I saw the activities.
Have you contacted implement partners to see how it's going?
Not yet, but I'll do it right away. I come to you to inquire about your experiences in implementing PBS.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell you about the genesis of the PBS in the context of the Competitive African Rice Initiative, CARI. PBS has improved incomes of women rice processors in northern Ghana, Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Since 2015, PBS has contributed to the parboiling of locally produced rice. This activity is mainly carried out by women in rural areas. It was found that improved procedures and adapted investments are needed to reduce women's burden. Indeed, the development of the first technical and economic Modules began with the colleagues of the RISE Pro-Agri program in Benin. The adaptation of PBS in different contexts has enabled PBS to be experienced on a larger scale in several countries. The introduction of PBS in Cameroon, for example, in the processing of non-timber forest products was easier because the methodology was already known.
ABF support projects wishing to integrate PBS at their request. This introduction is done in 5 successive steps. First, we have preparation and then adaptation, followed by capacity development, large-scale training, and finally quality management. Each of these steps contains sub-steps. Usually, we start by introducing the approach and its requirement. Next is market study, which is both technical and economical. It is optional because it is done on the basis of existing data. If we already have data that allow us to do PBS, it will no longer be necessary to do market study. Why market study? For the simple reason that we cannot promote a product that will not have a place later on the market. So we cannot launch the PBS approach on products whose processors will not be able to sell them. After the market study, we discuss the decision to introduce or not the PBS within the program, and when we discuss like this, we decide on the choice of the product, the choice of partnership, the choice of the target group. Then comes the second step, which is the adaptation of training materials. Here we talk about the different processing equipment and do economic analysis, which is very important and very crucial in the development. After the adaptation of training material, we move on to the pilot training, which will allow us to test the material that have been adapted. Training materials here are the training manual and the trainer's guide. We then end this pilot phase by finalizing training material, and once this stage is completed, we move on the capacity development phase. Here, capacity building is about choosing the trainer who will do the training later. They are chosen by partner structure and trained by master trainer, knowing that ABF is the cheerleader of master trainer in the PBS approach. After these trainers are evaluated, they will be selected to practice of the 4th phase, which is the large-scale implementation of PBS. And this implementation also has some sub-steps like printing the manual, the planning of the training, and the practical training. The very last step is quality management. Inside, we have supervision with monitoring and evaluation of PBS training and trainers. And after 1 year, refresher training that will be organized for trainer and carried out by master trainer. In this step, we also have trainer certification. It should be noted that during these 5 stages, ABF works permanently with the program to provide advisory support.